Once upon a time, there were 10 brothers. As the head of the household, the brothers all obeyed your command. Each had their own unique disposition. Some were arrogant, but they each took on the nature the head of household had chosen for them. Didn't he say some of them were nicer than the others? At breakfast, Cinderella let out a big, exaggerated sigh. This snapped me out of my thoughts and back to reality.
What's the matter, Cinderella? It's not like you to have emotions.
Damn. Wow.
Wow, rude much. I have problems too, you know.
You do.
Red's innocuous comment made Cinderella's smile stiffen.
Fine, whatever. You may or may not have already noticed, but sales are down as of late.
Cinderella scooted his chair in and sat up straight.
I thought our profits don't matter since we're just doing this for fun.
At this, we all nodded in agreement. We didn't live here because of the storefront on the first floor. It was just a fun bonus. We were under no obligation to run a cafe, but since we had the setup, we figured it'd be fun to put it to use. Cinderella averted his eyes awkwardly.
Well, you're not wrong, but with as much success as we've had, wouldn't it kinda suck to watch it fail?
He had a point. It would kinda suck.
It's true we've had fewer customers in. Even during peak lunch rush hours, it's nearly a ghost town.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Maybe they're bored of us now?
Yeah, country bumpkins tend to get bored quickly.
Did a new Stardust or Dunkin' Donuts open up somewhere nearby? If so, that would certainly explain it. Country folk tended to flock to anything with a big city feel.
You really think they'd open a branch out here in the sticks?
Nope. Actually, but it's a tourist destination. Why wouldn't they open a branch there? That just seems like good business sense to me. It wouldn't be profitable for them after all, okay?
Do you reckon I should have a bit more banter with the birds who come in?
Ooh, that could work. We could focus on our female demographic.
Then we'll need a hot poster boy. Everyone turned to look at Kaguya.
We could revisit the Punch Kaguya voucher idea.
Drop it, Gretel. Kaguya's smile froze on his face. What if we turned into a butler cafe?
Like, welcome home, my lady.
Yeah, that!
Isn't that kinda cringy?
Major cringy.
I really think if we gave out Punch Kaguya vouchers... Stop!
What about one free hug per drink?
I'm mad about you, darling. I don't want to let you go.
Or one wall slam per drink? Okay, there's too much bleeding over of like other roots happening now, and oh my goodness, all this bleed through can't be good.
Don't even look at other guys. I'm the only man you need.
Or one chin cup per drink.
Say, could I kiss you?
Or one yandere outburst per drink. Yes. Yes. This is why you're my favorite.
Sister, sister, sister! Is that a reference to someone, pray tell? I'm referring to you, of course.
Kaguya smiled. Gretel responded with a punch to the gut. Alright, out the door he goes.
Go!
Kaguya!
Now then, I guess I'd better come up with a new menu.
Uh-huh. This isn't helping your case, just so you know. Gretel continued as though nothing had happened. Don't you, the rest of you, act as though nothing has happened.
In that case, how about the hot fruit punch?
Red suggested innocently.
The what now? Well, you see, Eureka made
Snowflake gelatin shapes! Floating in warm fruit punch! Remember when you made those donut bites and Cinderella was talking about seasonal desserts? It was an idea I came up with off the top of my head. I rambled like my life depended on it. Well, I'm glad Kaguya recovered quickly.
Oh, I see now.
Interesting.
Kaguya and Cinderella smirked knowingly at me. Gars. Oh god, everyone knows. They totally know! Gasping, I whirled around to find Gretel squinting at me dubiously.
What?
Nothing! Scratch that. Everyone but Gretel knows.
I'm tentatively interested in this hot fruit punch idea. Apples, bananas, grapes, pineapples. Their sugar content increases as they ripen, and they're good for the skin.
Ooh, nice. Girls like that crap, right?
What else? We could offer a fruit tea, maybe?
That would pair nicely with our desserts.
And we could just eat the leftover fruit by itself.
Sure, but it wouldn't be very good.
Maybe we could add whipped cream or chocolate?
What, like a fondue? That could work, but we need to raise the price for that or we'll be in the red.
Sounds like we should give it some more thought.
The only other problem is that a lot of fruits aren't in season during the wintertime. Indeed. We'd be limited to oranges, strawberries, and apples, I suppose. Well, we've got loads of apples now thanks to our puppet.
Alright, now that you're all up to date and raring to go, let's get out there and make some cash.
Yeah! We thrust our fists into the air. From there, our ideas proved to be a huge success, and business returned in full force to our cafe. The end. Just kidding. I wish it was that easy, but alas. As I tucked my knees up to my chest and let out a sigh, Snow White eyed me curiously.
What's wrong?
Lately, it seems like our cafe's been losing a lot of customers. In the end, our efforts didn't draw in a single person. Of course, I knew complaining to Snow White wasn't going to solve anything, but I needed to vent. Fortunately, this troubling development seemed to resonate with Snow White, as he responded with uncharacteristic sympathy.
It's not your fault.
Come on, tongue. He reassured me gently. Thanks. You're so sweet to me. For some reason, he averted his gaze awkwardly.
No, I'm not. I'm not sweet at all.
This triggered a yellow flag in my mind. Had I touched another sore spot without realizing? Either way, I decided not to dig too deeply. Instead, I changed the subject. Oh, that reminds me! You remember the hot fruit punch I made a while back? We decided to start selling it at the cafe. I clapped my hands together excitedly. Fortunately, Snow White took the bait.
The snowflake drink.
Yeah, that! I beamed at him, but he turned away. Then his shoulders started to shake. Confused, I tried to get a good look at his face, but then he turned back to me.
So, did you solve the riddle yet?
He had regained his usual stoic expression and flat tone. Oh, right, that. I recited the riddle just as Snow White had presented it to me. As the head of the household, the brothers all obeyed your command. Each had their own unique disposition. Some were arrogant, but they each took on the nature the head of household had chosen for them. First, the word your indicates the listener. Thus, the 10 brothers obey the listener. This suggests that the 10 brothers are something the listener uses regularly. Next, the 10 brothers. They each have their own unique disposition, but the word brothers suggests that they're all associated with the same family of sorts. So if you think about a family of 10 things you control on a daily basis... As I spoke, I quietly gauged his reaction. He listened quietly to my reasoning, but his expression didn't shift whatsoever, so it was impossible to tell whether I was on the right track. Anyway, that's as far as I've gotten as of right now. I still haven't settled on an answer, though. I mean, that's a lot better than anything I could have come up with. Am I off base?
Not really.
He smiled awkwardly, a rare occurrence for him. Apparently I was headed in the right direction.
Huh. You really are nothing like him. At one point I gave him the same riddle, and he really agonized over it.
He had a distant look in his eyes. Then I remembered Snow White telling me about someone who reminded him of me. Are you talking about that one friend of yours?
Yeah.
I was curious what this other friend was like, so I decided to ask directly. Could you tell me more about him? I vaguely remembered asking this question last time around, but all I got in response was, he smokes a lot, and you two look nothing alike.
You want to know about him?
Of course! He fell silent for a moment, but he didn't seem unwilling, just unsure how to begin. Slowly but surely, however, he found the words he was looking for.
He's stoic and rude and rough around the edges. Like you, he's tactless, outspoken, nosy, and utterly dense. But he carries himself with conviction and a strong sense of compassion. When I first met him here on the lakeshore, I was looking down at the water. Then he called out to me from the other side. Apparently, he thought I was planning to drown myself.
Like brother, like sister. Now, why does that sound so familiar?
But I took an interest in him, so I invited him to meet me here again the next night. I didn't think he'd actually show up. Why would he waste another night on me? I was just some random kid.
But he did, didn't he?
He did. That said, we didn't do anything special together. He would smoke, and I would look at the lake. Sometimes we'd talk, but that was it.
I thought you took an interest in him.
Yeah, but I didn't have anything to talk about. Okay, not exactly. Maybe I just didn't know how to start the conversation. But what surprised me was... he came back the next night, and the next, and the next. Over time, we talked about a lot of stuff. He told me all about his life, and how he ended up out here in the countryside. And the more he told me, the more I found I could relate. The things he liked, the things he hated, the way he saw the world. I agreed with all of it.
Sounds like you were 2 peas in a pod. He nodded.
Maybe that was why I took an interest in him. Maybe it was a gut instinct. He would always tell me about his little sister.
Go on.
Her likes and dislikes, the books she read, the things that made her sad.
Aww! He sounds like a really caring big brother.
I don't know about that. If anything, he didn't seem to like her much.
Why's that?
Probably because she reminded him of his own appearance. See, he told me his uncommon looks prevented him from pursuing something he truly cared about. Ash gray hair and icy blue eyes. Pretty weird, right?
Ash gray. For some reason, this caught my attention. Ash gray hair and icy blue eyes. Why did that sound so familiar? Does his sister have an unusual appearance too?
Yeah. He showed me a picture once. She's really pretty. Although, I don't know if she would agree.
A picture? And it didn't look like Eureka?
She was really gifted, so their parents were always focused on her. Which probably made it harder for him to like her. Classic inferiority complex. She made him feel insecure, even though she was a lot younger than him. But I related to his feelings super hard. I'm sick of having a mirror held up to me constantly. I'm only ever going to be myself. I just wanted someone to accept that.
His tone was soft and full of sympathy for his friend. You must really care about him.
Yeah, I do.
He smiled. Where is he now?
Somewhere far, far away.
I see. I was wondering why he referred to the guy in past tense. Evidently they'd fallen out of contact. Oh! Is that why you come here every night? Hoping he'll come back for you? At this, Snow White stared at me in wide-eyed silence. This reaction confused me. Then he smiled faintly with a faraway look in his eyes.
No. I'm the one who went somewhere far away.
He reached out to the lake, almost like he was yearning to go to the mirror world contained within. In another moment, Alice was through the glass and had jumped lightly down into the looking-glass room. Yes? Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about this, guys. I can't even tell you. We're getting so close. We can just scrape it with our fingernails. That's how close we are. That night, I dreamed of the past. I was begging my brother to tell me more about the prince as white as snow. I was dying to know how the rest of the story went. Hey, big brother?
Yeah? What's up?
I want to know more about the prince.
I've already told you all I know about him. There's nothing more to tell.
Oh, darn it. A prince as white as snow. I wish I could have met him myself.
Can you stop talking about him like he's a fairy tale character?
Isn't it magical?
No. It makes me shudder.
Oh, I get it. Because snow is cold? Ouch! Don't hit me!
Your prince hits people too, you know.
Oh, really? That's weird. How did you feel about him, big brother?
He was an obnoxious brat with a foul mouth and a fickle, snotty attitude. But without him, I wouldn't be who I am today.
So he led you to the right path?
Yeah.
Healer of undiagnosed neurological trauma. That makes you a hunter. Get it? Just like your name. That's what a hunter is? Healer of undiagnosed neurological trauma. Okay, alright. So, why did I not consider that it was an acronym for something? I'm disappointed in myself.
Great. Now you sound like him.
Really? Then we would have been best friends.
Absolutely not.
Aw, come on. You can't know that for sure unless I meet him someday.
You better not be plotting anything behind my back.
Who, me? This girl? Nah. When I awoke, I found myself in my bedroom at the cafe. Just a dream? I sat up and looked around the room. It It was just my ordinary bedroom. Nothing appeared to have changed. And yet, for some reason, I felt restless in my own house. In my dream, I was talking to a man with ash-gray hair and icy blue eyes, and addressing him as Big Brother. Was it because of the conversation I had with Snow White about his friend? One can say that a dream is a reproduction or recreation of our memories. In most cases, the people and places that appear in your dreams are taken wholesale from your past. Even when you dream about total strangers, your brain still uses your past experiences to create them. It's nothing more than a manifestation of your subconscious. Then maybe I do know him? What was this uncertainty I felt in my chest? Why did something feel distinctly wrong? Something's not right.
How so?
Nobody's coming to the cafe! There we were in the middle of the lunch rush, yet our store was as dead as a doornail. Doshite! Why won't they come inside? Our cafe was located right in the heart of downtown. This complete lack of customers wasn't just alarming, it was downright preposterous. We were so busy just a few days ago! How could they all just vanish?
That's what I'm wondering.
We've really done our best. Wall slamming, floor slamming, hugs from behind, strangulation. We even came up with a new menu.
I like that the menu was the last thing we tried after strangulation. Guys, what are we doing? Do you think, like, you know, if the dream is getting closer to reality, like the amount of, for lack of a better word, NPCs is shrinking, and it's just coming down to like the people we actually know in reality is all that's left, maybe? Maybe? I don't know what kind of person would choose strangulation, but more power to you.
At this point, if we've done all we can and it's still not good enough, I say we let it go. We were only doing this for fun anyway.
I agree. As do I.
Really? Just like that? I know it was just a fun side project, but we need money to live. Without any customers, how will we pay for our ingredients? Then again, without any customers, we don't need to buy ingredients, so maybe we'll be fine? It's like all the people in the world just vanished. Right?
Like hell they all vanished. What am I, chopped liver?
Yeah! Ow! Scowling, he flicked my forehead.
Enough snark. Now get to work.
Fair enough. Now that I think about it, where's Gretel?
Beats me. Maybe he's cooped up in the kitchen making sweets again.
No one is in the kitchen at the moment. If he's not busy cooking, then perhaps he's gone out. Maybe there's a new dessert and he's got to queue up for a few hours to get it.
Ugh, I could totally see him doing that. But low-key, if he was the first one to disappear, I am more than okay with this.
Good grief, that selfish brat. Well, if we ain't got customers, then there's no work to be done here. I'm going back to my room to work on my projects.
And with that, he gleefully headed upstairs. You two can go do other stuff too if you want. My brothers always worked hard to ensure I could have leisure time. Now it was my turn to cover for them.
What to do? I reckon what I like best is spending time with you, Pulpit.
As usual, it was eminently clear why Kaguya was popular with the ladies. What about you, Red?
I shall remain here as well.
And as usual, Red preferred to take a more subtle approach. Love you both, though. An hour went by. They're not coming.
So it seems. Indeed.
We waited and waited, but no one came. As I rolled an apple around the table out of boredom, Red looked up suddenly.
That reminds me. Did you solve the riddle? What riddle? Her Prince Charming gave her a challenging riddle to solve. Something about 10 brothers. What was it again?
Red couldn't seem to remember, so I took it upon myself to explain. Once upon a time, there were 10 brothers. As the head of the household, the brothers all obeyed your command. Each had their own unique disposition. Some were arrogant. But they each took on the nature the head of household had chosen for them.
Yes, that!
The answer is words, right?
What?
Red blinked at me in surprise.
You figured it out? Without any hints?
Yep. His jaw dropped and he stared at me. Almost like I'd grown a second head or something. No surprise there, of course. After all, I had only just thought of the answer myself. Maybe all this free time is good for something after all. Idle hands are the mother of invention, or something like that. I took a deep breath and began to explain my theory. Once upon a time, there were 10 brothers. As the head of the household, the brothers all obeyed your command. Each had their own unique disposition. Some were arrogant. But they each took on the nature the head of household had chosen for them. First, the word your indicates the listener. Thus, the 10 brothers obey the listener. This suggests that the 10 brothers are something the listener uses regularly. Next, the 10 brothers. They each had their own unique disposition, but the word brothers suggests that they're all associated with the same family of sorts. So if you think about a family of 10 things you control on a daily basis, you arrive at parts of speech. Nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, determiners, conjunctions, interjections, prepositions, and particles. Wow, that's 10! Girl, you're brilliant. I attempted to make my explanation as straightforward as possible.
Oh.
The Red's reaction was muted at best. Thank you, Kaguya, thank you.
Whoa. Doesn't make much sense to me, but I'm impressed.
Kaguya, however, was another story. He grinned and applauded me.
Supposing the answer is words, then why do the brothers take on the nature that the head of household chooses for them?
Because words can change their meaning depending on how they're used. For example, if someone uses the word literally to mean figuratively, then that's what it means.
How very condescending. Sounds like him, all right.
All I could do was smile and shrug. Even though I have the answer, there's still so much I don't understand. I hastily steered the conversation back on track. What was the point of giving me this riddle anyway? If he's asking me to solve it, then that means he wants me to find the answer, right? If he didn't want me to find it, he wouldn't need to go out of his way to do this.
Shouldn't you be asking him that?
Yeah, I guess. That said, I didn't want to risk inadvertently offending him by asking. As much as I wanted the answer, I was too afraid to seek it. Words, a necessary tool to express thoughts and feelings, but I was too afraid to use them. While words could help illuminate the darkest corners of the human psyche, so too could they pierce like a blade. In that case, what if I found a different way to communicate? Ooh. And so... Alright, let's get started! I rolled up my sleeves and set about making an apple pie. Why an apple pie, you ask? Because it was Snow White's favorite. According to his mother, at least. But there were other reasons too, of course. For some reason, my mind kept drifting back to apple pies. Snow White had rejected my cooking twice thus far, and it still wasn't clear why. Plus, there was the mystery of the rotten apple pie I had received from his mother. I couldn't help but think there was some sort of connection. And if I was too afraid to ask him with my words, then I'd have to get creative. In other words, I'd use the apple pie to play a little mind game. For now, I'll work from memory to get it tasting as close to Mother's as possible. All right. Sometime later, I stood with my arms folded. What am I missing? Unfortunately, my pie only resembled Mother's in appearance. It was still perfectly tasty, of course, but that wasn't good enough for me.